Chinelo Ezego was a beautiful and well-respected woman. She was elegant, gentle, and calm. She was not the loud or showy type, but she carried herself with quiet grace. People admired her because she behaved with dignity and wisdom. Before she got married, Chinelo was hardworking and financially independent. She loved earning her own money, not because she was proud, but because she knew what it meant to be poor. She grew up watching her mother, Mama Chichi, struggle to raise her and her 6 siblings after their father died. So for Chinelo, earning her own money was like oxygen. Chinelo worked in a prestigious commercial bank and she excelled at her job. Her life was simple, peaceful, and she was happy. And it was there, during one of those beautiful work days, that she met the man who would change her life in a way she didn't expect. Chief Chuka Ezego, popularly known as Odo who chopped the money, was a wealthy businessman. He was tall, bold, and charismatic. He walked like the whole Wuse market belonged to him. He loved showing off, and he loved being praised. But Chief Chuka was a man of ego. If ego was a building material, Chief Chuka would have built several estates. And if pride could turn into a cement block, he would have become landlord of 10 villages. Chief Chuka was not wicked. In fact, he was loving and generous. But he had one strong belief. A wife should never step outside her husband's shadow. To him, a woman's job was simple. Stay home, raise the children, enjoy my money. Chinelo and Chief Chuka were blessed with 2 adorable children, Emeka and Adolisa. The family lived in a beautiful, well-kept duplex in Warimpa, Abuja, one of the largest and most comfortable residential estates in the city. The house stood proudly on a quiet street lined with tall trees and uniform street lights. It wasn't the biggest house around, but it had a classy, distinguished look, the kind that told you the owner had taste, money, and stability. The compound was fenced with a neat cream-colored wall, topped with black security spikes. The gate, a shining black iron design, opened into a clean paved driveway where Chief Chuka parked his cars, usually a Toyota Prado and a Mercedes-Benz he loved showing off. Inside the compound, flowers were everywhere. Hibiscus, roses, and aloe plants filled the corners. A small, well-trimmed lawn sat close to the veranda, which Chinelo swept every morning, even though they had a house help. The interior of the house was warm and elegant. The sitting room had soft, cream-colored sofas, thick curtains, a big flat-screen TV, and framed family photos arranged neatly. A chandelier hung above, giving the room a quiet glow at night. The dining area was Chinelo's favorite spot. Clean, bright, and always smelling of freshly cooked meals. Her kitchen was modern, with white cabinets, shiny tiles, and a long countertop where she spent most of her time preparing food for her family. Upstairs were the bedrooms, simple but cozy. So, the day Chinelo mentioned working after marriage, he simply laughed. He pulled her close, tapped her cheeks gently, and said, "Achalugum, nothing will ever make us poor. I I did not marry you to stress yourself. I married you so you can eat my money, relax, and care for the kids. Leave this hustle for men like us. At first, his words sounded sweet like sugar. It made Chinelo feel protected and loved. Slowly, that sweetness began to turn her like a bird that was trapped in a cage. But Chief Chuka never allowed her to walk. One day, her mother came to visit. Mama Chichi was a strong woman, the type who had survived life's real hardest storms and was still standing tall. After they talked for a while, Chinelo finally opened up. "Mama," she said softly, "Chief doesn't want me to walk again. I feel useless and I feel like I am losing myself." Mama Chichi listened to her daughter and sighed deeply, a sigh that carried years of experience and hidden pain. "My daughter, obey your husband," she said gently, "but be wise. A woman should never stay empty-handed." She held Chinelo's hand and looked into her eyes. "Have you forgotten what we passed through when your father died? Your uncles took everything and threw us out like strangers. If not for my small crayfish business, you children would have ended up on the street." Tears filled Chinelo's eyes. Mama continued, "If I didn't have a little savings back then, what would have happened to us? That small business fed us, trained you people, and gave you a future. So listen to me. You must respect your husband, but save from every dime he gives you. Never allow yourself to be empty." When Mama Chichi left that evening, Chinelo sat quietly in her room, thinking deeply, and then the memories came back. She remembered the day her father died suddenly, how her uncles lined up at the house, demanding documents, seizing property, dragging items out as if her mother and siblings were thieves. She remembered holding her mother's wrapper as they pushed them outside. She remembered sleeping on the floor of her maternal uncle's corridor. She remembered squatting in one room with her mother and 6 siblings. She remembered how Mama Chichi sold crayfish in the market under the hot sun just to feed them. And she remembered how her mother's hard work put all of them through school, even sending her to the university that eventually gave her the banking job. That job she lost because of marriage, that independence she sacrificed because she thought marriage would be her new safety. Chief Chuka provided everything: comfort, luxury, and peace. But Chinelo knew that tomorrow was unpredictable. After several years, Chief Chuka's business began to fail. It started like a small cloud. Then the storm hit. One night, she found Chief sitting on the sofa with elbows on his knees and head bowed, alone in the living room. She sat beside him softly. "Odogun, what is wrong?" she pleaded. "Please talk to me." But he looked at her with tired eyes and said, "Chinelo, you will not understand." She became confused, but she kept quiet. She didn't argue or raise her voice. She just simply walked away slowly while Chief was left alone in the living room. One afternoon, when she passed by the living room, she heard Chief responding to a call. He sounded broken on the phone. She paused, not to eavesdrop, but because the tone froze her steps. "I don't know what else to do," Chief Chuka whispered. "The company shut their Nigerian branch. The contract is gone." everything is gone. Chinelo's heart sank. So this was the burden he was carrying. This was what had turned him into a shadow of himself. She stepped back quietly and went into the bedroom. The next morning, before the sun rose, Chinelo woke up with a decision burning in her heart. If her husband wouldn't let her support him openly, then she would support him silently. She remembered her old friend, Adaeze, who worked in a company that always bought office stationaries. Chinelo simply dressed up and paid her a visit. When she arrived, Adaeze was surprised. Chinelo, it's been a long time. What brings you here? Chinelo smiled gently. I want to start supplying office stationaries. Pens, A4 paper, toner, anything. Adaeze raised her brows. Odogwu Chop the Money's wife wants to start a business? I'm impressed, but I hope your husband will not be angry. She laughed warmly. As a matter of fact, we need a new supplier. Let me give you a small order. Those words lit up Chinelo's heart. She returned home, opened her sewing box and brought out a small nylon bag. Inside was the secret savings Mama told her to keep. She held the money close to her chest and whispered, Mama, thank you. The next day, Chinelo headed to Wuse Market where quality office stationaries is sold cheaply at wholesale price. She bought the items, packed them neatly, and delivered them herself. Her packaging was so neat. She communicated politely, and her delivery was always punctual. Within 1 week, the company ordered again, and again, and again. Then another company called, then another. Within 1 month, Chinelo was making steady money, quietly, respectfully, and without noise, not to prove anything, but to protect her home. One evening, Chief came home exhausted. Chinelo walked into the dining room quietly and placed a big brown envelope in front of him. My husband, I want to show you something. He opened it slowly. Inside it was neatly arranged 850,000 naira. He stared at the money, then at her. He became confused. Chinelo, where did you get this? She sat gently, hands on her lap. I earned it. He blinked repeatedly. You? How? She explained everything. How she spoke to Adaeze, how she used the small savings her mother advised her to keep, how she supplied office stationaries, and how she delivered with excellence. When she finished, Chief Chuka's eyes softened. His pride melted. His ego bent. He held her hand gently. Achalogo, he whispered. I didn't know you had this kind of strength. I judged you wrongly. From that day, their marriage began to bloom again. Chief involved her in his business decisions. He supported her and registered her business ventures. He even introduced her to his contacts. And Chinelo, she didn't gloat. She didn't remind him of the past. She didn't say, I told you so. She simply grew, blooming like a flower that finally met sunlight. Because a calm woman is not weak. A gentle wife is not useless. And silence is never an inability. Some strengths appear only when life pushes them. And the person you look down on today may be the same person who lifts you up tomorrow. Dear friends, what lesson did you learn from this story? Share your thoughts with me in the comments. If you enjoy this true life tale, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another story. Thank you for watching. And remember, every tale carries a lesson if only we choose to listen. Until I bring another true life tale your way, goodbye and remain blessed.